Congressman, two questions, one on a short-term disaster problem, one on the longer term. Homeland Security and Obamacare post the Supreme Court decision. So Homeland Security, it's another perils of Pauline moment with Congress. What is going to happen? What do you want to see happen? And how in the heck did both sides get into this sort of dead end where you're
on the Homeland?
On Homeland. I mean, you're gonna have to
the executive order is what got us to where we are. I think that's an unconstitutional rewrite of immigration law. We disagree with that. I think that's something Congress should do in writing a law. He's effectively trying to unilaterally write a law which exceeds his authority. There's the impasse. What I would like to see happen is, this is more of the Senate, but I'd like to see this Collins Amendment go through, where they take the DACA part of it out and they actually send it to the president and see where let them vote on the thing. They can't even get to a vote in the Senate on this. That's what's frustrating. The Senate, I don't know if you have Ron or Tammy in here, but they can walk you through how that works. You can't even get to vote on a policy, which is very frustrating. So I'd like to see them at least get to a vote in the Senate. Do I want to see Homeland Security shut down? No, I don't. Will it? No, it won't, because the president can deem these functions essential anyway. I don't know if you got Ron coming in anytime. He's the chair of this committee. He can walk you through how this works, but there are a couple points. Much of this agency is funded by fees that they collect and distribute. So they aren't funded through what we call discretionary spending. They get fees. But also, even if you have a shutdown, there's a lot of history to this, a lot of precedents. Presidents deem certain personnel and functions essential. Border Patrol, Homeland is. So that will still continue on. So there's really not a point to be made there. And so hopefully we can have the votes on this issue that we need so we can make our points clear. The court route may be the smarter route to take anyway. You already have a stay from I think it's going to the appeals. I don't know when that hearing is going to be, but you already had the Texas ruling. You're going to have an appellate ruling now. That, to me, is probably the faster track, the easier way to go, because for us to stop this, we have to pass a bill, and the president has to sign a bill to stop what he did. He's not going to do that. And we don't have the votes to override the veto. There's our impasse. And it just took me 8 sentences to explain that, and there's our problem.
So
and healthcare.
It's not going to. Homeland Security is not shutting down, is what you're saying.
I don't believe so, but I can't answer. I mean, it's a week away. I'm one person, but even if funding lapsed, the function will continue because I assume the president will deem these functions essential, as he has in past shutdowns, as past presidents have. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And what will your Republican colleagues do in the House? You talked about the Senate, but the House is really where you have.
We're trying to see what the Senate's going to do before we come up with our final strategy. That's part of the problem is you have to wait for the other body to come up with what we're going to do. You want me to get into King Burwell?
Well,
that was the second half of your sentence or your question?
In a second, you've favored some reform in immigration, and none of this problem is immigration.
Yeah, look, the answer here is Congress should fix this problem. The answer here is Congress should pass laws, not executive branch. To me, as a Republican, the smart tactical move, in addition to the right thing to do, is we should rewrite the immigration law. We should preempt the president's executive order with our own laws that we write that says, here's what you do with immigration system.
Wouldn't that be really smart politics for the Republicans?
Well, I think so, but,
Why can't you do that?
I think we will. I hope we will. I hope that we will this year.
What would you like to see in it?
How much time?
Okay.
You can give us the one.
Well, I've gone through this with you guys before. Gilbert knows all the stuff, I believe. That takes a while to get into it. But I do believe that we need to rewrite our immigration laws. First of all, immigration is good for our country. We just want to make it legal. We want the rule of law to be respected. We don't want to reward bad behavior with amnesties. You don't want to reward a person for cutting in line. Because the person who's working hard, who's paying their fines, waiting in line, that's the person who follows our laws who should be rewarded. But you've got to acknowledge that you've got to figure out a way to deal with the undocumented. And without going into a long story, I have an opinion on how to do that. Mm-hmm. The point I would make is we in Congress should do that, not the administration.
What's your window for getting that done? that
We
a
got
two-
so much going on this spring. I'm not sure exactly when, but
Is
but
that a
I do
2000?
believe we should do this in 2015.
Right.
I'd like to see Congress step ahead of the president and do it on our terms instead of his terms in 2015. Knowing the way the calendar works, we got a lot this spring, and with sort of what I call deadline-driven things, which is probably what I'm talking about.